Let's talk sole prop, specifically registering your sole proprietorship for 10DLC A2P registration in 2025. Hi, my name is Will Craig. I'm a co-founder of a company called Signal House. We are a messaging provider that specializes in providing connectivity for CRM systems, but we can provide connectivity for any application that sends a message to a person. So any software system that businesses use to communicate with their customers, we can power that communication. So we're going to be digging into sole proprietorships, what that means within the overall ecosystem of 10DLC and A2P, and helping you get your sole prop business registered for messaging. So let's jump right in. Okay, so first, I quickly want to define 10DLC A2P and let you learn a little bit about the process that it takes to actually go through this registration process and provide some education on the ecosystem as a whole. So 10DLC, what does this actually mean? This means 10-digit long code. This refers to the phone numbers that businesses are using to communicate with their customers. Now, 10DLC numbers are the numbers that we are all familiar with, where the first 3 digits correspond to an area code within the United States. Now, what about A2P? This means application to person. It allows businesses to send a message from a normal 10-digit phone number from some kind of a software system to a person's handset. And so to have the ability to do this, to take a 10-digit number and to register it to your business, you have to go through what's called 10DLC A2P registration. And that is managed by a company called the Campaign Registry. Now, if you are submitting it through your messaging provider, you don't need to worry about all this extra stuff. You can just put in your information and submit it. And we'll get to that here in a moment. I just want to educate you to make sure that you know what's going on in the back end so that you are armed with the information to make the right decisions for your business. So again, 10DLC registration process is overseen by this company called the Campaign Registry. Now, this process in and of itself is a 2-step process. There's a review of a brand, and there's review of a campaign. Now, the Campaign Registry essentially acts as a warehouse that stores your brands and campaigns when you submit them for 10DLC registration. So very quickly, what is a brand? A brand is just your business. This is the sole prop business that you are actually registering to send messages on behalf of. The information that you need for this are things like an EIN, if you have one. We'll get into that in a minute. The address, the legal company name, as well as the type of organization. So for this, it wouldn't be a private company or a nonprofit. It would be a sole proprietorship. And so there are specific rules for that. And again, we're going to get into it here in a moment. And so what about campaign? Campaign is the use case of the campaign. So what you're actually using the campaign for. For a sole proprietorship, there is a sole proprietorship special use case campaign with a couple limitations that, again, we will get into here in a bit. So what is a sole prop? A sole prop is just a business entity where there is a single owner. Now, you may have an EIN associated with this, or you may not have an EIN associated with this. And so if you do have an EIN, when you are filling out your information and submitting it through your messaging provider, you will want to make sure that you put in that EIN. If you don't have an EIN, you can use an SSN or your social security number to do that submission. So if you have an EIN, use that. If you don't, you can use your SSN as the tax ID. Now, here's the catch, is that only certain campaign service providers or CSPs or messaging providers, just a term for that, are able to support sole proprietorships. Now, Signal House is one of those companies. We've went through the process and have the technical information on the back end to make sure that we are doing everything correctly, but not every CSP does enable this. So if you are a sole proprietorship and you're looking for messaging providers, ask them if they support sole props on their network, because frankly, there is a lot that messaging providers have to do. And so for one, the campaigns are limited to only one phone number. So if you have a sole prop brand and a sole prop campaign, you can only purchase a single phone number on that campaign. The throughput limitations are also fairly strict. So you have 1 message per second in total. So you can only send 1 message per second with a sole prop campaign. Now for AT&T, you can send 15 messages per minute with AT&T. With T-Mobile, you can only send 1,000 messages per day. But again, on the AT&T, 15 messages per minute, but it has to be, 1 message per second. So if you're sending, 1,000 messages out at a single time with a sole prop, you're going to be sending it 1 message per second. Only 15 of those in a single minute can be from AT&T, and 1,000 total for T-Mobile. The other thing that's really important for this is that you have to actually use your real phone number for your support phone number. So I know that sometimes some people just put in, 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to 0 when you're putting in your support phone number. I don't recommend that in general when you're submitting your brand, but for a sole prop, it is specifically important that you put in your actual real phone number, because they are going to do a one-time OTP or a one-time password that they're going to send you, and you have to verify that that is your information. So there is a verification step that is unique to sole prop. But once you have done all of these different steps, you've used your EIN if you have one, or submitted with an SSN, you've selected that special use case sole prop campaign, and your message provider is able to support that. You have went through the process of having the one-time password, verifying that it actually is you, and you have identified that the throughput and everything else and the number limitation is okay with you, then a sole prop is a great idea for you and your business. And that is exactly how you would do it. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, will@signalhouse.io. I am always available to answer your questions. If this video was helpful, please share it to someone else if it would be helpful for them as well. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We provide messaging content 5 days a week to help you in your messaging ecosystem journey. We like to help people in the messaging ecosystem and power their businesses. So we will see you in the next